He is a real chupa Rustam. He has lots of friends. He works through them. He pretends to be just a professor, but he's not. So, he and I know what it is. That's why I was pulling his leg. Let's say end of the month. So now, I would say we need 3 things to do after this conference. Number 1, you must, this mindset question I talked, your outlook. What should be outlook? Generally, it should be a positive, optimistic outlook. Read all the biographies of all the great leaders, the one thing they all say. I will particularly ask you to read Winston Churchill because he went through hell, lots of ups and downs. Finally became emerged out of in World War II as a great hero. We didn't like him because of his behavior to India. But in terms of scholarship, ability, writing, he's written a book on leadership. You should read. Almost anybody. Whether it is Vivekananda, all one quality of a doer is that he must be optimistic. And if you believe in the Gita, then you have to be optimistic because all that Gita says, your freedom to do in this world is action. Whatever you want to do, you can do. And the good you do gets accumulated in a karma calculus. And Krishna says, I will decide when the fruit will come, in what form. So, therefore, I find one thing in Twitter I keep trying to cure, a constant despondency that nothing will happen, this is the way it is, all it is, courts will not do anything, that man will be bought, this man will be bought. No. That may be the current situation, but we're going to change it. That optimism is an integral part of your outlook, that you must have a firm fire in your belly that we've got to change India and make it into a great country. For outlook, you must have a concept of identity. Who are we? 83% are Hindus. But how do you unite the others? People say, no, you see, all religions are the same. And how can they be the same? Islam says, only my religion, no other religion. Christianity says, only my religion, no other religion. Hinduism, the only religion, says every religion leads to God. It doesn't say that every religion leads to God with equal speed. It only says that Hinduism is the best. We are going on a turnpike, on a highway, and these people are going on a village road. But they ultimately will reach. We are going in a fast car, they are going in a bullock cart. But Hinduism recognizes that all religions go to God. This is the only religion. So how can you have a compromise with another religion which says, no, no other religion. If you believe in another, you are a kafir, you should be killed. Therefore, don't talk about compromise. But I do say that now research published in the Journal of Genetics in the University of Cambridge, in Mysore University, in Houston University, all show that our DNA is the same, whether we are Hindu or Muslim, Brahmin or scheduled caste. Of course, Brahmins is never birth-based, Brahmin, Kshatriya, no, these are not birth-based. If it was birth-based, then how Vishwamitra became Rishi of Rishis? He was born in a Kshatriya family. How did Valmiki, who was born in a Dalit family, become a Maharishi and write the Ramayana? Or Vedavyasa, who was born his mother was a fisherwoman. How did he become a Maya and write the Mahabharata? Kalidasa was cutting trees, you see the branches of trees. He became a Mahakavi and a Maharishi. Ravan was a Brahmin. This Karunanidhi did not know for a long time. So he was celebrating Ravan Leela. You celebrate Ram Leela, I will support Ravan Leela. Of course, he and I have been opponents, but we know each other for a long time. So one day I went and gave him a copy of Kamban Ramayana. I said, you please read it. Ravan was a Brahmin. He said, no, not possible. Then he said, at least he was South Indian, Dravidian. I said, no, he was born in the outskirts of Delhi in a place called Noida. And his wife was born in Mandodri. Mandodri was born in Meerut, you see. Then he went to Mansarovar. And on the edge of Kailash, he did tapas. Bholanath gave him, as Lord Shiva does, he gave a varam to him. And he came back and he saw Sri Lanka, in prosperity with Kuber. So he, with his power, he went and conquered it and became the king. That's how he ended up in Sri Lanka. By the way, in Mansarovar, which I persuaded the Chinese after 3 years of arguing to open it, I was the first one to go. And one day I hope to persuade the Chinese to give it to India so that it becomes part of India. So when I went there, towards Mansarovar, I saw a huge lake. So I told my guide, that must be Mansarovar. He said, no, that's not Mansarovar. Mansarovar is another 10 kilometers away. So I said, what is this? This is called Ravan Haranga. So I said, what do you mean Ravan Haranga? What does Haranga mean? He said, Haranga means Sarovar, meaning lake. Ravan, he said, somebody from India came and he did tapasya here. So I said, oh, very good, then let me also have a dip there before going to Mansarovar. He said, no, don't have dip, then all get itches and all that. So I said, okay, let me drink a little water. He said, no, if you drink, you will die. I said, my God, the power of Ravan Haranga. So I took an empty bottle, filled it up. When I went back to Chennai, I gave it to Karnanidhi, please drink a little bit of it. So, therefore, I am telling you all this bogus history. We are Hindus or our ancestors are Hindus. That is the fundamental fact about India. Privately, Muslims and Christians accept it. Christians, of course, publicly also accept it. But Muslims do not want to accept it because the mullahs don't like that. So therefore, anyway, this is something we propagate, become a family, we become a Hindustan when Hindus and those whose ancestors are Hindus come together. And if you don't accept that and you think that you are a pure descendant of Gori and Ghazni, then you don't belong here. But the identity of India is a Hindustani identity, must be firm. This is something you must work into your outlook and continue to say that we are not just a Republic of India, not like a crowd in a railway station, just got together, got a passport and we're therefore Indians. No, that's all right, that's a political concept. But the identity concept is this. Second, we must now slowly try to bring a language in place of English. And I'm not in a hurry. English still continue to be an international language, not because of Britain, but because the Americans also speak English, so because of the Americans it's become an international language. But Sanskrit is a language we must now rethrone as the link language. It doesn't mean everybody has to learn it, but link language. And the reason is that every language has a very high proportion of Sanskrit vocabulary. I took this Madras University Dravidian Tamil English dictionary. I mean, that's about as Dravidian as it comes. I mean, I'm talking about the British concept of Dravidian. I'm not talking about the Shankaracharya concept of Dravidian, which is Thravid, which means where the three oceans meet. That is South India. But the word has been completely vulgarized by the British and they formed it into a nation. That concept of Dravidian, that the Dravida movement produced a dictionary. They said we are exorcising completely all the Sanskrit words from Tamil. And that dictionary I took and started counting words which are common to Sanskrit. I say common for a good reason. And I found 41% of the words in that dictionary you can find in Sanskrit. And I told this to Karunanidhi also. He said, no, this Sanskrit stole it from Tamil. Alright, but it is common. His own name, Karunanidhi, is Sanskrit, Karunanidhi. And his election symbol in Tamil is called Chinnam, which comes from Sanskrit word Chin. And this Chinnam is Udayan Suryan. Now that's not Dravidian Tamil at all, to me, if you ask me. So I'm saying if you take Karnataka, much higher proportion of Sanskrit words, Malayalam even more, Bengali perhaps the most, and all this, and of course now All India Radio, Hindi and all, they're all highly Sanskritized now. Slowly this Hindi should go on getting Sanskritized till it becomes Sanskrit. This is the formula that Shankaracharya suggested to his disciples when they wanted to remove Pali, because Shankaracharya won and Hinduism was rethroned, and then his Shishya said, get rid of Pali. He said, no, just Sanskritize Pali. In 50 years, Pali became Sanskrit, and Sanskrit came back. So we need Sanskrit for this one reason. There's another reason, and that is, you can go to Google and find out. The NASA has come to the conclusion that for the most advanced computer science area of artificial intelligence, of storing knowledge in the computer, that the best and most scientific language is Sanskrit in Devanagari script. This is the result. As a result, Bush's last action as a president of the United States was any college teaches Sanskrit will get special federal grants. Sanskrit is slowly now making a reappearance in the United States in a big way. And we will learn many things, as he said, from the white man. Yoga we used to laugh at till Jane Fonda did yoga. Then everybody started doing yoga. And this Sanskrit literature has made a famous Hollywood actress, winner of several Oscar awards, Julia Roberts, convert to Hinduism. She came here for shooting, she went to an ashram and told the Swamiji that I have got millions of dollars, I've won every award that can be won in the cinema world, but I'm not happy. Please tell me how to become happy. He made her stay just 10 days, and she was so much moved that she went back. She held a press conference, had her husband stand by her side, and her two children said, from today onwards we declare we are all four of us have become Hindus in this country. And she has become a Hindu. Newsweek wrote an article that conceptually we are all become Hindus now. And if you read my book on Hindutva and National Renaissance, I have quoted the entire, it was November 2007, when they wrote. This concept is all because of this flowering of the Sanskrit literature. So Sanskrit is a language which must be both because it may become our international language one of these days thanks to the computers, but we need it because this is the easiest way. It's got terminology, vocabulary for every possible situation. And the Devanagari script, which is very similar to all our scripts, take Tamil script, you write ka, you write like that, and you want to say ki, you put a matra. Exactly in the same way in Devanagari you put ka like that, and then for ki you put a matra on top. The principles are the same way, these small regional variations. So the second resolve should be, if I can't learn Sanskrit because of my commitments, then I'll make my children learn. If my children are too grown up, I'll make my grandchildren learn. But make them learn. Go to your school and tell them, please make provisions for Sanskrit teaching. And they can get good grants from the government. And therefore, if you go to the Human Resources Ministry's website, you will see how Sanskrit can be learned through computers, through cassettes and so on and so forth. So this is the second thing I would like you to do. Now the third thing is and this is a difficult thing for me to tell you, please learn the correct history of India. Don't allow even the slightest, don't make the slightest connection to this bogus Aryan Dravidian theory. Fight it all. Don't ever say we were beaten by anyone who came from abroad. It is not true. We are the only country which fought and stopped the advance of Islam, stopped the advance of Christianity. If you really go into that, and there I must appreciate the work done by Rajiv Malhotra, but then it's very esoteric. So I told him last time I met him, let's form a publish a textbook in history. This you must give to your children, as the teacher said. Who said this? You said it, I don't know. One of the speakers said, for examination, you still write all that bakwas that is taught to you in class, but know in your mind that this is the correct history. One day this will become the correct history. So that's another thing that you need to do. Finally, what you need to do is what was the topic of the lecture. You need to develop a special Indian code of behavior, which we call as dharma. Now, in this dharma is, somebody was saying, what's the definition of dharma? Is it different from religion? No, dharma is just a code. Hindutva is Hindu-ness. What is Hindu-ness? The way I treat my father and mother is not the way a Westerner treats his father and mother. They grow up, at the moment they are 21, they are all left and they've forgotten their father and mother. Father and mother cannot come. In America, if you are invited for dinner and you take one extra friend with you, the host will get very angry with you. May even not give you dinner. But in India, you invite, then 3 more will come with it. That is Hindutva. We have a different approach to these problems, and there is something called Hindu-ness. That is Hindutva. Now, Mahatma Gandhi had Hindutva, but his Hindutva was Sattvic Hindutva. I don't want Sattvic Hindutva, I want Virat Hindutva. There is a difference. Virat Hindutva is that if you are hit, you will hit 10 times. If Pakistan attacks you, you break it up into 4 parts. If they have a Bombay 2611, you will go and bomb all their camps in their country. If the Bangladeshis send 1/3 of their population to your country, you will take away 1/3 of their country. That's easy also, because from Khulna to Sylhet, if you draw a line on the map, all the above territory is 1/3. And the military is very happy. They say, right now we have to go all around to go to Assam. Now we'll go straight through. I asked them, when I was a minister, I asked them, how long will it take? They said, sir, give us 1 week, that's all. 1 week we'll do it. Tell Bangladeshis, please take your people back. If you don't take back, then give us land. If you don't take land, we will take the land. Same thing with Kashmir. What is the Virat Hindutva response? You tell the Kashmiris, these Pandits, you have driven them away. I can't ask them to go back. They will be butchered there. So you sent away 5 lakhs. All right, in our country we have 1 crore ex-servicemen, of which 10 lakhs are people who are still able-bodied enough to fight a war. I will give them money and weapons and say, go to Kashmir and settle down there. You send 5 lakhs, we'll send 10 lakhs. So otherwise stop it. And once they are all settled and established and recovered the house property, that the Pandits' properties have been taken, returned, then the Pandits can go back. So these are Virat Hindu responses. And we need to do it. And we need to do what has to be done to reclaim our country. I've written an article in Pioneer yesterday. I don't know if any of you have seen it. You might see it in the... It's about this Babri Masjid thing. Do you know that the Indian Supreme Court in 1994 constitutional bench ruled that a masjid is not a religious place. It is a place for reading namaz. It's a facilitation for a namaz. And namaz can be read anywhere. So a masjid can be demolished. Saudi Arabians regularly demolish masjids. Even Pakistan does it. Musharraf demolished 6 masjids to build a road. Where Muhammad used to read namaz, that was called Bilal Masjid in Makkah. The Raja, the Sheikh of Saudi Arabia wanted a palace built in Makkah so that he could go there when he went to Hajj. And he found that the only way is there was a property in which this masjid was there. Said, demolish it. Some archaeologists said, no, this is, at least this one can be left. So they officially, public notice was issued. Anyone who says any word in favor of preserving this Bilal Masjid is guilty of what they call as idol worship. And it is un-Islamic. And therefore we will demolish Bilal Masjid, and demolished it. But here, this Babri Masjid was built on a temple, proved already by satellite imaging that there was a temple below. This was demolished. And its demolished parts were used to build the masjid, by the way. I've been to Babri Masjid and it was there. The pillars were all from a temple. And to that, for Ram, they would not agree, because we are not Virat Hindus. And we are not able to tell them. I must say, when Chandrasekhar was Prime Minister, I had the opportunity to negotiate with the Muslim community. They were ready. They said, if you can prove there was a mandir there before, we will quit. But then by then the government fell, so we couldn't do it. That is a question of attitude. The Muslim psychology, their Darul Islam, Darul Harab, Darul Ahad, teaches them how to behave according to how the majority behaves. If they are in majority, then you can't celebrate Diwali in Saudi Arabia. You can't build a temple in Saudi Arabia. You can build a masjid here, but you can't build a temple in Saudi Arabia. You can't even have Satyanarayan Puja inside your house. You cannot even carry Ramchandraji's photograph in your pocket. And these are all criminal offenses. So that is Darul Islam, and they are very clear. Darul Harab, where they are a big majority, and the majority is a big minority, and the big majority is Rasgullah. So there they say, go on pushing. First you ask for no uniform civil code, then you ask for reservation, then you ask for more. Go on asking for more and more. That is what Muhammad teaches them. And finally, if the majority is united and they'll beat you up, then surrender. So in Australia, one Imam said, we don't want uniform civil code. So the Prime Minister of Australia said, then go and find another country where you can have your Sharia. Next day, all Muslim organizations said, this Imam is an idiot. We are not following him. We are happy with uniform civil code. Because that is what Darul Ahad Al-Taqiyya teaches you. So, the core thing is this. Your country has to be rebuilt. We have spent 1,000 years fighting off people who try to change the character of this country. We are not asking them to get away, leave it, because all of them we consider descended from the same ancestors as us. We welcome them to be with us. They can have any religion they want as long as the culture is the same. Like Ganga, many small rivers join, but the name Ganga remains to the end. So same way, Hinduism will remain. So this is a question of assertion. Now finally, I'll talk about the third thing that you need to be clear about, ideology. I'm very happy one of the speakers spoke about integral humanism. The Chinese have adopted integral humanism, but they call it harmonious society. See, the question is this: one-dimensional pursuit of materialism leads to greed, and greed leads to corruption. No society has been happy with pure material prosperity. And that is proved by the fact that if you go to Sri Ravi Shankar's ashram, you will see how many foreigners, all rich foreigners, well-to-do foreigners. I went there the other day. My God, there were, I don't know how many, must have been 3-4 lakhs people there. And about 1/3 of them were foreigners, white foreigners. And when I spoke to 2-3 of them, they were doctors, they were millionaires, that kind of crowd, joining like everybody else. What is it that Sri Ravi Shankar gives them? He gives them a perspective which makes them happy. And that is the secret of ancient India, which we call as Sanatana Dharma, the harmonization of spiritual values and material prosperity. Material prosperity cannot decide social status. In the Varna system, which was not birth-based, which unfortunately degenerated into birth-based, and therefore we can't reform it just now, so better we just scrap it and think of ourselves as a Hindu and nothing else. But socially, money cannot be the deciding factor of your social status. It should be learning and sacrifice. By that, Professor Vaidyanathan qualifies at the top because he has got both. He won't even say thank you. That is the extent of his vairagya. He's immune to flattery. That's right. So, therefore, I would say that our ideology should be one where we are very clear material prosperity is necessary, but it shall always be harmonized with the spiritual values of society, which means truthfulness, honesty, being nice to your elders, people who have done good things, being gratitude. These are all these values which have to be taught. And they are now codified by Harvard Business School of Education as 6 levels of intelligences, which is there in what our rishis have been teaching for centuries and centuries. They say cognitive intelligence, when you learn mathematics, etc., it's cognitive intelligence. You recognize. Then they call something called emotional intelligence. The way you conduct yourself, the language you speak, the words you choose, how to win over the other person, that is called emotional intelligence. Then they say there is something called social intelligence, that you work in a way by which your prosperity, your growth, your advancement is consistent with the requirements of social growth. Not at the cost of the social growth. You can't build a factory and pump in black smoke into it so that people die of tuberculosis. That you may prosper, but society will suffer. So you have to harmonize that. Then moral intelligence, that you will not sacrifice moral values, truth and gratitude, etc. for your personal advancement. Then the one that the rishis have taught us for a long time, which is now the Americans are recognizing and teaching it in a big way, called spiritual intelligence, which means they say all knowledge is in Brahmand. Brahmand means cosmos. And if your mind can connect to that, which the Americans call is neural Wi-Fi, if you can develop a neural Wi-Fi, then you will plug into that cosmos and you will get all the knowledge you want. That's why meditation takes place. That's why we do meditation. Because that develops your neural Wi-Fi, it connects you, and that's how you come to know. There are lots of things you know. People ask me, how do you know this bank account of Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi? Well, I use my neural Wi-Fi. And finally, the environmental intelligence, that don't destroy the earth by what you do, but nurture it. So this all, the primary value, I will tell you, of Hindutva is the equality of men and women. Let us not forget, family does not mean woman sits at home and cooks and husband goes abroad and he does whatever he likes and the wife then tolerates it for the sake of the family. No. We have modernized concept. I think there's nothing wrong with the man staying at home and looking after the house and the woman earning if she earns more than him. Or both of them earning. We have to modernize those concepts and they are consistent. When Shankaracharya wanted to debate Mandara Mishra, the final blow to Buddhism through the Uttaramamsa school, question was who will be the umpire? Because here's the greatest exponent of Hinduism and the greatest exponent of Uttaramamsa school. They have to debate who will be there. So Mandara Mishra suggested his wife. Biggest mistake. Because no man is a hero to his wife. They know that better than him. And she adjudged him loser. And therefore, Shankaracharya of Shringeri, the first Shringeri Shankaracharya was Mandana Mishra. He came to Karnataka and set up the first mutt of the Shankaracharyas. So, women have always enjoyed that position. When men failed, it was the women who came, that is Kali came to destroy the Asuras. And in Brahma's cabinet, the most important portfolios are with women. Education, Saraswati. Defense, Durga. Finance, Lakshmi. What have the male gods got? Information broadcasting to Narad Muni. Yeah. So, I mean, this whole, what we have been through 1,000 years may have degenerated the position of women. But we now need, because what these crimes against women are going, we have to take a stand. And there are ways to do it, has to be done. There's a new government, certainly I'm going to devote attention to see that no woman is afraid of walking in the street alone at midnight. So you get your baggage ready, so to speak. Your outlook should be clear, your ideological basis should be clear, and your tools are obviously elections. And elections this time, you just select your area where you are. You don't have to join a party. Select your area. Where is one polling booth? 1,000 votes only. Make a mapping of it. Tell the candidate, don't come here. We'll take care. I mean, of all the good candidates, you choose the best candidate. We will try to see the good people are put up this time. The way things are going, it looks like I will have a say because Vaidya has told me that he'll use his influence in Delhi and see that I get my say. And that is what Guru Murthy and I were talking. So, therefore, I will tell you that there is hope today that we can be aware who is the prediction is there of Sri Aurobindo that this 212 onwards the resurgence of India will start. We have got the youngest population in the world. 28 years is the average age of an Indian. What's the average age of a Chinese? 37. Because of that one child family thing, they have become an older population. What's the average age of an American? 38. What's the average age of a European? 48. What's the average age of a Japanese? 50. This younger generation is the one that 70% of our population is below the age of 35. This is the population we must educate and teach them excellence, to innovate, to do research, to do ways, new things. The way the internet has started to transform the world, we need more new innovations. This younger generation we should prepare, and they have proved themselves in America. Indians are shining because they got the kind of education that they need. The same kind of education we must give here. That should be priority. We have the most potentially productive agriculture in the world. Our land is, you can have agriculture done on it 12 months of the year, because other countries like the United States, you have 5 months of snow. Even China has 3 months of snow. Our country, right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, you can do agriculture 12 months of the year. And yet only 25% of our land grows more than one crop, when we can grow 3 crops in 1 year. And the yield per acre is the lowest. Lowest in the world. The yield per acre of rice compared to Japan is 5 times in Japan. Why can't we raise the yield per acre? Run our ICAR experimental plots, we are getting 12 times as much as you're getting in the plots in the farm. So you can grow. We have got, what, 150 million cows. Their average yield is only 200 liters per year. One Israeli cow gives you 11,000 liters per year. Imagine if 150 cows started giving you 11,000 liters per year. I'll have to come to Bangalore swimming in milk. That much milk there will be. Potential is enormous of this country. It's a question of exploitation. Our agriculture is the cheapest in the world. Milk is produced at 1/15th the price of Europe. Why don't we export it? Why give subsidy to the farmers? Tell them export. And use the yield, low yield to increase the yield to see that there is no shortage within the country. All this requires doers. In a small way, I say small way in comparison to the potential, Narendra Modi has shown it in Gujarat. It can be done. You don't have power cuts in Gujarat. So this is the crowd that needs to be sent to Delhi to rule, and therefore this coming election, you just don't think big term, just your booth. Which booth you're going to vote, that area, you and others get together and say, we will ensure that the maximum vote goes to the best candidate. This is what you have to do. More steps when we meet again. Thank you very much.